Prime Minister Talks with Honorable Prime Minister Silveria Jacobs.
Hello and welcome to Prime Minister Talks. I am Silveria Jacobs, and today, as my guest, I have a young entrepreneur and author, Miss Tashira Richardson. Tashira, welcome to Prime Minister Talks.
Thank you so much for having me, Madam Prime Minister.
It's my pleasure. I invited you here because of your recent book launch. I was a guest. Thank you for the invitation, and I felt so inspired by you. I wanted to give you this platform to inspire the rest of St. Martin. So tell the people of St. Martin a little bit about who you are and introduce your book.
Super. So hello, everybody. Hello, listeners and viewers. My name is Tashira V.E. Richardson. I am a holder of many titles. I am a child of God. I am a self-love promoter. I am the mother of a little king. His name is Tajani. He is 7 years old. And beyond all of that, I am a content creator and communication specialist for my business, Divergence. I am also a writer. And very recently, I became a publisher and published author when I published my first book, Deep.
Wow. Yeah. So maybe you want to hold it up and show them the very interesting cover. Deep. And what is Deep, and what brought you to the point of actually authoring this book that is so very deep and personal?
Well, Deep is, in short, a collection of poetry, short stories, and literary tidbits. And the main message is to love yourself. So it's a journey from toxic love to unconditional love through self-love. And the reason I wrote this book, Deep actually wrote itself. After I had been through all of my traumatic experiences, I was really adamant about learning from what I encountered. And I realized there was a lot of similarities between the things I was suffering through and the people around me. And I needed to go deeper to understand that. So once I understood what the true message was, which is to love yourself, I had to share it with the world.
That is deep. I couldn't help myself. I was really like at the end of a day and I was like, oh, why did I say yes to this? I'm so tired. But once I got there and heard your story, because I didn't get a chance to go through the book before, I was really, really awe-inspired because throughout this pandemic, I think people have been facing their own traumas. We've been facing them before, but to me, because a lot of people were forced to be at home and actually face their thoughts, people had to face them. You didn't have a choice. Where could you run to? You couldn't run to the bar. You couldn't run to the supermarket. You couldn't go on your shopping spree. You couldn't lime. You couldn't do all the things that you do to escape.
Yeah.
And so you had to stand still and analyze and accept yourself for who you are. And mental health has become like a topic that is now not a taboo to discuss anymore. People are willing to tell their stories, but to go in depth the way you did and deep, wow. I was like, oh, wow. And I've learned through my own experiences and talking about them that you then empower others.
Yes.
So you mentioned the transition from toxic love to through self-love to unconditional love. So help some of our viewers to understand what is toxic love.
Okay. The simplest definition of toxic love is a love that, even though on a surface level it feels good, it is taken away from you. It's deteriorating you. When you have true love, it fills you up and it allows you to grow. It allows you to be your best self. But toxic love is something easy to hold on to. And I think that is why it is trending. We all have toxic relationships. We have them in the workplace, with our children, with our parents, Toxicity really is inevitable. But with self-love, you can identify a toxic relationship and you can gear it towards a more healthy balance. Or you can sever it altogether, which sometimes you really have to do.
That's definitely true. And I think it's harder when it's family.
Yes.
When it's loved ones.
Yes.
Who you love unconditionally, but maybe don't want to constantly be taking in all the negative that being in their atmosphere brings to you, their energy. That's another thing that's trending lately.
Yes.
Don't mess with my energy. Right? So I'm really, for me, some of the poetry that you wrote was deeply personal. You did give the caveat that not all of it is necessarily
Truthful.
facts and so on. So you embellished or maybe you added here and there. But you can say for the most part, it's sort of kind of autobiographical or?
It's mainly autobiographical. And it was very difficult for me to do that because even as a writer, it was difficult for me to share my poetry with people. So I had a lot of hurdles to overcome, but I wanted everyone to know that self-love is trending right now, but it's not always the beautiful things you see. It's not always the bubble baths and the self-dates and the fun times. Sometimes self-love is really dark. Sometimes it's painful. Sometimes it's scary. But deep is a testimony that even those dark and scary places can be beautiful because you will find yourself in those places and nothing is more beautiful than you.
Oh, that's testimony right there. Tashira, I think you're not just inspirational, you're brave.
Aww.
You're brave, you're courageous. And I think I told you that evening. You said the biggest thing for you was sharing your innermost thoughts. And I mean, I think there's a writer in all of us, and journaling helps you to also, how you say, verwerk. Process your thoughts and accept them. Maybe you go back and you read them. You're like, oh my God, did I write that?
Yeah.
And then you can easily pack it away in a sense.
Yeah.
And I've destroyed many a journal because I'm like, that's not who I am anymore. And it's growth. But you are embracing that moment by sharing it with the world. You can't pull it back now.
No. And
How does that feel?
Maybe if I could pull it back, I would. At some point I would have, but right now, after the launch, after people are engaging with the material, they are telling me thank you. And that is for me also therapeutic because I overcame this, but seeing my work helping other people is also helping me even more. Now I know I didn't go through all this hardship for nothing, you know? So it's a very motivational and encouraging feeling. And I feel like, okay, this might really be my purpose. I will continue writing. I will continue helping everyone in the ways that I can. Yeah.
Well, so we're at the end of the first segment. That went by very fast.
Yes.
And if you are interested, when we come back, you will see how you can get one of these books to support our local author and entrepreneur, Tashira Richardson. Come back. This is
Prime Minister Talks with Honorable Prime Minister Sylvaria Jacobs.
To serve your community, if you want to give back from what you receive, if you want to help out in combating crime, controlling situations that don't have to exist, and if you want to grow as a person, VKS is the best thing to do.
Congratulations to the Voluntary Corps of St. Martin VKS on their 25th Jubilee anniversary. Respect, responsibility, courage, and love for country is the motto. Thank you for your dedication and service to our community. COVID-19 Vaccine Clinic. The CPS COVID-19 Vaccine Clinic is located at the Vineyard Building Office Complex for COVID-19 vaccinations. The CPS COVID-19 Vaccine Clinic will only be open on Thursdays for the month of June. June 9th, June 16th, June 23rd from 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. Pediatric COVID-19 vaccination are Wednesdays by appointment only from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. For vaccination-related questions, registration, queries, persons can go to services.stmartingov.org or email or call 914-vaccination@stmartingov.org or call the pediatric hotline, cell number 721-526-1644. The CPS COVID-19 helpline 914 is operational Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Do you know there is such a thing as teen dating violence? Seriously, there is. When your boyfriend or girlfriend is controlling your every move, trolling you online, checking your social media page, recording you without your permission, or forcing you to do things you don't want to do, this is abuse. If you find yourself in this situation, please talk to someone you can trust. Your parents, school counselor, or the police.
This message has been brought to you by Women's Desk.
Prime Minister Talks with Honorable Prime Minister Sylvia Jacobs.
Welcome back to Prime Minister Talks. We're having a very riveting discussion with our author, newly published author, self-published author, Tashira Richardson. So saying that, I'm looking around, I can't get it done, I'm going to do it myself, right? So that also tells me a little bit about your courage and your push. Doorzettings vermogen, as they say in Dutch. You said you were going to write some more, but before that, you said you almost were sorry. You wanted to put it back.
Yes,
you wanted to put it back. But it's out there. You've inspired others. Are you going to do more?
I'm definitely going to do more, and I'm going to continue writing as if no one will read it, because I understand that is the only way to really hone your authenticity. And if I am less than authentic, then there's no point for me to write, because you can read whatever else is already out there. So I need to be authentic, and I need to be Tashira.
And still with the idea now that you have an ear, that people actually hearing you, feeling you, and coming back and telling you thank you.
Yes.
How awesome is that?
Too awesome. Some days I still wake up and feel like, was I dreaming? Is the entire thing just a dream? Because it is surreal. The way people are resonating with the poetry I wrote in my bed or on the back porch, or I had to rush out of the shower to write before I forget. It's unbelievable.
The creative process, that is so amazing. If you look at the book, which I have in my hands, some of the pages are white, some of the pages are black, some of the writing is pink, some of it is red. Does this have any significance for what you're trying to say?
Definitely. So Deep is dealing with emotions that words alone were not sufficient to describe. So I utilized color, and I utilized various shades of black, because part of the story of Deep is one of depression. And depression is darkness. It is really difficult to see anything beautiful in those times. But I actually was able to fall more in love with myself, because I saw my own vulnerability. I saw my own weaknesses. And for a long time as a perfectionist, I felt my weaknesses were something to be ashamed of. But self-love is embracing every part of you. And even my weaknesses can be a strength I don't know how to say it, but
in writing your book to help others.
Definitely. That is one way to put it. But the blackness, when I thought my life was the blackest, it actually wasn't. It got even blacker. So that's why I have various shades of black. And these pages together formed the dark pages. So the dark pages was a very difficult period in my life. But just like the dark ages, it really birthed a renaissance. So I'm grateful for everything.
Your use of words, like I'm just sitting here like, birthed a renaissance, okay? This is so amazing. And in the break we were talking, and our background people, why aren't we recording? So that is to let you know how interesting the whole topic is with you. And then you have your white pages. What about what is the symbolism of the blue writing, for instance? Or the pink or red, different shades as well?
I utilize red for passion, for love. I utilized pink for more romantic love. Not so much for myself, but more you falling in love again. Like sometimes, especially when I was going through my divorce, I felt like I would never love another man romantically again. But that was false. And love has a way of healing. So I really wanted to utilize the pink on the black pages to show that for anybody going through that struggle who feels like love will never find them again, love will find you.
So the pink on the black pages signified The renaissance of love.
Returning, yeah.
Even through the darkness.
Even through the darkness.
I like it. I like it a lot. And then you actually have a pick page. Oh, okay, we're going to skip that one. Yes, so it's the book is not for all ages.
No.
Right? The book is adult content.
It really is.
It does have some adult content, so it is not for your children, your young children. But I would recommend that you read the book because a lot of us don't face our fears, don't face our inner demons, don't face our what you call weaknesses.
Yeah.
And I think your testimony through your poetry, through this book is, and oh, that's another thing. We weren't supposed to call it a book. Through this literary work, really allows persons to assess themselves. And if you could do it, and the way you talk about it, and you go through it, through your dark, white, then darker, then the dark, and then still end back up on the lighter pages, and ready to move on. I was going to let you, but maybe I should let you read The Return.
Okay. The Return. She was here again, but this time she had a smile on her face. Not because she was intoxicated, no. She was smiling because this time she accepted where she was. This time she trusted that she had what it took to navigate her way back to the top. She smiled because this time she loved herself. And instead of shaming her brokenness for not being perfect, this time she loved it even more. Because now she knows that unconditional love will manifest the healing she needs and that she is an infinite source of it.
No, honestly, Tashira, I must say your use of color. What about the cover? Tell us a little bit about the colors on the cover.
So the cover is really a testimony to my resilience because at a given moment, I had spent a lot of money on professionalism for the cover, and the cover still had not manifested. So I was broke and needed a cover for my book. So I did it myself. I got dressed up, I went to the beach, I took this picture myself. And when I was editing the picture for the cover, I say, because deep is a testimony about darkness being beautiful, I toned down all the brightness, I made it dark, and it was really a reflection of myself. So I said, what better than just my face? And apparently I'm in good company because I believe Viola Davis did the same thing with her cover.
Wow.
She did not take her own picture, but she just put a black and white picture of her face on her book. So I thought it was a very nice alignment.
Definitely from such a strong, empowering woman, for sure.
Yes.
And I think that you can just rest on the laurels that with this, and you're first, and self-published, you set a trend for others. And that falls right in line with my vision statement that I've been pushing, especially post-COVID, that St. Martin is a place where everyone can realize their dreams. You just have to make sure that's your focus. So if you've just joined us, this is Prime Minister Talks, and you can come right back for the last part where we'll be talking some more to our author and entrepreneur, Tashira Richardson.
Prime Minister Talks with Honorable Prime Minister Sylvaria Jacobs.
Are you busy with summer cleaning or preparing for the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season? Remember to clean and remove mosquito breeding sites and artifacts from your premises. Let us work together in keeping our communities mosquito-free. Join hands together across your community as we fight the COVID-19 pandemic. Let us collectively prevent a mosquito pandemic such as dengue, chickpea, or Zika. Let's take action today. This public service announcement is brought to you by Collective Prevention Services.
The names for the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season are as follows: Alex, Bonnie, Colin, Danielle, Earl, Fiona, Gaston, Hermine, Ian, Julia, Carl, Lisa, Martin, Nicole, Owen, Paula, Richard, Shari, Tobias, Virginie, and Walter. The 2022 Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th. For all of the 2022 hurricane season related updates, be sure to log on to www.stmartingov.org/hurricane, facebook.com/SSMGov, St. Martinga Radio 107.9 FM, and MeteoSXM.com. This message was brought to you by the Office of Disaster Management and the Department of Communication.
Prime Minister Talks with Honorable Prime Minister Sylvia Jacobs.
Welcome back to Prime Minister Talks. I'm here with Tashira Richardson, our local author who produced her own book, published her own book, did the cover herself. She already explained to you her use of color in the book. The book is called Deep. I would suggest you get it. Before the end of the show, she'll tell you how. But what I can say is that in the book, there is poetry, there's short stories, but there's also symbolism. Tell us a little bit about the symbols that you've used in the book.
Okay. So these symbols, I encountered them on my research journey. I love to do research and I'm very open. So I do not say, okay, I know something. I'm always open to more information. So I stumble upon these symbols and I put them in a book to make people curious and do some research on it for themselves as well. Yes.
So I see there's a colored, I know there was an actual artist that painted this.
Yes. So that is a piece of Just For Me. I call the painting Just For Me because it literally was made just for me.
Oh, wow.
Her name is Dirkje de Jong. She is an artist living in St. Eustatius and she did a beautiful mural by Untitled Chapter. And I fell in love with the mural. And I used it in a backdrop for one of my shows. And she saw the show and fell in love with my show. So this one day I'm there and she's on the phone with Bushman and we end up talking and she says, if you ever need a mural, let me know, I'll paint one for you. So somewhere along my journey, I pushed out a preview of Deep called Shallow and I needed some artwork. So I contacted Dirkje. So while me and Dirkje is talking, she was like, wait 1 minute. She disappears from the frame and when she comes back, she's holding this piece of art. She said, I made it and normally when I paint my things, I put it on social media, I show it off, but for some reason I felt like this needed to stay in the back. And it was the right color, it was the right theme, and when I saw it, I got goosebumps all over my body and I knew it was just for me.
Wow, and that's the name of the poem that you have it with?
Well, no, I did not write a poem for it, but it is... Throughout the book, I took elements, yes, because I feel like it signifies alignment. When you do what you have to do, even when you feel, yes, to help you along the way. And that piece of art is a beautiful, factual piece of that.
I think what you're saying is even bringing the book more to life for me because, I wondered about the symbolism. Sometimes it was, okay, I know what this one means. Mm-hmm. Other times I'm like, okay, I don't know what she's trying to say here. So I think that's good because when you read a book, sometimes you go back, you read it again, you learn different things. Yeah. So I'm really, really impressed by you being able to do this. And I felt the need to share this on my platform. And because it's a journey, what would you say was a pivotal moment on this journey through this book?
There were so many pivotal moments, but I think the last one that I already started to allude to was I had to overcome my emotional self to get this ready for a publisher. And it took some time. It took a lot longer than I anticipated. And when I contacted my publisher, they ghosted me. And that was devastating because I'm like, I got this far. What am I going to do now? I almost felt like giving up. But I had Shallow out there and I was, everything I put on my social media, I put Deep is coming soon. So I had to honor that. So I took that day off. I cried a little bit. And the next day I rolled up my sleeves and I became a publisher. It didn't happen 1, 2, 3, but I started the process and I did not stop until I finished.
And what can you say you learned about yourself?
Wow. I am so blown away because I really thought, as a person who suffers from depression, sometimes I cannot finish simple tasks. Sometimes I could start to wash my clothes, I can't hang them out. So to get to that point and to keep on going, and I have a book here that we can be talking about, I'm not going to cry. But I am blown away, yes.
It's called growth, and I think all of us should aspire to grow through our pains, grow through challenges, and especially while going through it, knowing that there is pink and white at the end of the tunnel, even through the darkness that we're going through now. I love the symbolism of the book. I love the fact that you rose above your challenges and that they are challenges that everyday people face. So I think this book will continue to resonate with people. I think that you will continue to rise as an author. And so I pray that you never allow the dark to envelop you to the point where you feel that you cannot. So I really want you to take time to share what you think you want to share, whatever that is, with our audience today, in a sense of whether it's your journey, whether it's what you think they can all be doing, whatever it is. You have the next few minutes.
Okay. Well, what really resonated with me on my journey is the fact that we all have a purpose, and that is divinely given to us. And regular human beings do not have the power to stop our divine purpose unless we give it to them. So we need to keep on keeping on. We need to love ourselves. We need to embrace the dark. We need to embrace our weaknesses. And we need to put what we are here for out there in the world, because not only will you help yourself, but you will help someone else as well. And that is how we can make the world a better place.
Tashira V.E. Richardson, the author of Deep, a young St. Martiner who worked for people before. She worked jobs, including right here, government, for a short stint, I believe, and found herself in the darkness, found herself through her trials and tribulations. And I think she should serve as a role model for all of us, regardless of our station in life, regardless of where we think we are on the journey. And it's something I keep telling my son, I tell my daughter, I tell anyone who would listen, actually, whatever you're going through today is not the end. It's a part of the process. And you talked about the lessons learned through that process. And if you just stick to it, you just persevere through it. You said you're a child of God, believe in God, believe in your higher power, believe in yourself. So I add my 2 cents to Tashira's inspirational message of self-love. You are worth it. No matter what you're going through today, you can come out of it and actually inspire others by sharing it. And so I encourage you to do so, to stay safe, to always put yourself first, because you cannot serve from an empty cup. I love you. Stay safe, St. Martin. This has been Prime Minister Talks.